Hi, folks, and it's your girl, Segilola Salami, on what I think is only the best podcast show in the whole world, the Segilola Salami Show. And with me today is the little human. It's another nice sunny day in London. We're just chilling. We're going to go to the park later on. There's no one in the virtual cafe today. It's just the both of us. The virtual cafe is closed because, yes, we needed a break. Now, I seem to find that new technology just does not go well with us, or with me. So I had no internet for over a week, and it just felt like something was missing in my life. Like, can you imagine no internet for a whole week? But thankfully, it's back up and running, and hopefully from next week we'll be back to our usual schedule with loads of lovely new guests on the show. Now, before I forget, I'm just going to say this to you. If you ever listen to anything that I say, if you ever take anything that I say, the next thing that I'm going to say is something that I hope you would write on pen and paper, put it on a post-it, and stick it to your wall somewhere. In everything in life, so this is it, in everything in life, right, especially business related, you need to have one strategy and you need to apply psychology. Strategy and psychology will help you be successful. Then you do CPD, continuing professional development. So when you do your first, you have your strategy and then you apply psychology, and then you do your first run. Then you then go back and then say, okay, well, what have I learned from it? And how can I be better for next time? Or how will you fine tune your strategy? So when I mean psychology, right? I mean, so for instance, if you think about a goat, for instance, let's say, so I went to visit a farm once, and the lady wanted to give the goat food, but she didn't put the food directly in front of the goat. Well, she had a goat farm, so in front of her goats. Instead, she went to put the food far away from them. And her rationale for doing so is that if you put the food in front of the goat won't want to eat the one in front of them. They always feel that the food that you put in front of another goat is better than the one that you put in front of them. So there are different aspects in life, and you have to find the psychology of your audience, the psychology of your user, and know what the best way is to reach them. Okay. And then something that when I was discussing with my dad once, and I was saying, Dad, you know what, I'm a really, really hard worker and I'm not, really getting where I want to be. So after that conversation with my dad, I went to do a little bit of soul searching, and then it then came to me. Actually, Shagilola, you work hard, but you're not working as smart as you can, which is quite profound. Because you can say, for instance, you wanted to fill a drum with water. You have the option to fill the drum with a cup or a bucket. Now, both of them will still get you to, fill in the drum. Just one will do it quicker than the other. So if you take a cup, you will find that you'll probably go 1,000 rounds to reach the one round that, someone who's using a bucket. So you need to work smart, you need to have a strategy, and you need to apply psychology. So if you've never taken anything that I've said before, you need to apply this. Write it down somewhere. Okay? So there's this event. It's called Africa Rights Festival. It was hosted over 2 days. And it's done by the Royal African Society, and it was held at the British Library. I was fortunate enough, and I think they didn't really market or publicize their event very well, or I wasn't in their usual point of call to find out about the event, and I was only fortunate enough to find out about it via Twitter. And I was able to get a stall, or let me say, well, like a chair and a table on the last day to put my books on for 2 hours, so between the hours of 12 noon and 2 p.m. So I was going to, I wanted to just give you my review of my experience of taking part in the festival, or in the event, fair, whatever you want to call it. Anywho, so let me see, where do I start from? So the event was held on a Sunday, And let me see, where do I start from? I have to give you the my preparation. So I had a strategy and I applied a bit of psychology, and I'm going to tell you how I think they all panned out. So on the Friday before the event, so Friday, Saturday, so 3 days or 2 days before the event, I went to get my hair done. Okay, you got to go have freshly made hair, look nice, look sharp, look presentable on the day, right? And so I had my hair gel twisted because I have nappy afro. So I had to have it gel twisted so that it's in place and I'm not faffing around with a comb or anything. Then the next day, I had a book reading event at a school fair. Um, Now, as to be expected in London, it would rain. It would rain for like 5 minutes. Then the sun would come out, blasting, hot. 5 minutes later, it will start raining. Then the rain will come back, and then the sun will come out. And it was just alternating between rain and sun, rain and sun, rain and sun. My book reading was to be done at 3:30, so I left home possibly just after 2 p.m. Because I tried to give myself an hour's journey time because the venue is about an hour away. So I tried to say, let me get there, before the time, so that at least I'm not rushing into counter any unforeseen events in getting to the location. So I got there just after 3 o'clock. I think between 3:15, something like that. And then as I arrived, the rain had just broken through, and then so that was the time that the sun was coming out. And literally, as I was walking towards the field where the fair was being held, it was almost like half the people that were at the fair, they were just leaving. I was like, okay, does that mean the fair is closed early? What the heck is going on? Right. So I then, went to make my way, and they were like, yeah, no, most people had just had enough because it had been raining. So now okay, I'll come back to the next thing. So I was going to say that, next event that I'm going to do in the UK, I'm going to make sure that it's an indoor event because, doing an outdoor event, people are not going to take the chance, want to be outdoors when it rains. So that's what I've taken away. That's what I've taken away from the show. Hello, did I come? So I was like, yeah, that's what I've taken away from the show, is to make sure that any other book reading events that I do is an indoor one. And also, when I then had the book reading, there weren't loads of children because again, they weren't really organized. So now, if I'm going to be doing another book reading event, what I will be making sure that whilst I would love to get paid, to come, and a lot of authors do get paid, what I'm going to be making sure of, moving forward is that at least I get paid in digital currency. So that means that, even if they wanted me to come and give my time free of charge, they need to make sure that they put my details on their website because these people didn't, and I didn't feel like they were quite organized in relation to having me there. So I will make sure that they have digital currency of me. They will put my website details. They will talk about my books. Just make sure that people know that I'm coming. Because I felt that they hadn't done that, and maybe if they had planned that, more people might have been excited. So indoor events, digital currency, having my website there, talking about my book. Just to drive a bit of buzz before that. So if you're going to have an event, in a school, for instance, if you write children's books, then, make sure that even if you're going to give your time free of charge, that they do put you in their, they put your website on their website as well, because then that's driving, digital currency that Google likes, and it boosts the ranking of your website. So yes. Anywho, so I had my book reading. It was quite nice. I did have a number of children listen to the show, to the book reading. So it wasn't like there wasn't anyone. There were children who listened to it, and I got a clap or a few claps. And one of the child, he listened properly and gave me what he learned from the story, which was quite good. Then as I was leaving, loads of wind. The tent that they had broke and the metal thingy that held onto it bumps me in the head, right? And all I can say is, who needs a helmet when you have freshly gelled hair? Like literally, the gel in my hair made the hairs bounce, because if it didn't, I probably would have ended up in hospital or something, because they had to call a first aider to come and examine my head. She was like, "Oh, okay, I can't feel any softness. Okay, so you're all right." I sat down for a few minutes. Before then making my way home. Now, so this is where I'm going to the ordeal that I had, before getting to the British Library on the Sunday. So this book reading event that I had was on the Sunday. On the Friday, I went to go and get my hair done. Now, prior to the Friday, I think it'd been 3 days already when my internet had already been down. On the Friday after I had my hair done, I went to the library to get the address of the school, and had a plan of how I was going to get to the place. Now, the internet provider had said to me that on that same day, on the Saturday, that my internet should be down. So I didn't make arrangements to get the address for where I was going to the next day, on Sunday. Okay, because I thought by the time I get back home, my internet will be ready. Okay. Anyway, so after having a bump on my head, literally the last thing that I wanted to do, especially since it was a rainy day, was to start trying to flap around and go to the library. Because so my book reading was at 3 o'clock. It was for just under half an hour. So I stayed there for a little bit. So by the time I got back home, let me see. So I left there around past 4, and it takes about an hour. And it was like 5:30, and literally I was exhausted already, after having a bump on my head. And they didn't even feel guilty enough to say, okay, you know what, our tent is almost broken and bashed in your head. Let's buy all your books. They should have said this. But then I had business cards, so they took off my business cards and they said they will get in touch, for another event that they will be doing that's indoors. So you remember how we said on the previous episode of the show that it's important that you need to have business cards, because you never know who or when someone would want your details, and it's quite handy to have something to just give to them. And in my one, I also had a QR code as well. Tech, tech, tech. And it's quite funny. I don't even know how to use a QR code on my phone, but I'm sure somebody does. But I put it there just for the sake of it. So I gave away business cards to a couple of the school teachers who said they will get in touch when next they're having another indoor event. Okay, so now when I got back home around 5:30, settled down, got some dinner sorted, my internet still was not working. Can you imagine? Still no internet, and it'd been like what, 5 days already or something. And then the event that I was going to, which was the Africa Rights event, was the following day, and it started. My stall was going to be at 12 o'clock, and I was aiming to get there for 11:30. So I had to leave home, between 10 and 10:30 in the morning to give me plenty of time to get there. I knew the location was in King's Cross, but what I didn't know was exactly how to get there. Not to, anyway, but then prior to that, so my plan and the strategy that I employed was that, okay, I had my books already ordered and delivered to me, that I was going to take me to the event. Then I needed to find a way to make people come to my stall, because I'm assuming there are going to be other stalls there. And so I wanted people to have more reason to spend time at my stall in relation, rather than spending time at the other one. So the plan was, I'll take my little girl with me, and she is amazingly beautiful. I know I am biased, but people have said that she is really beautiful, and she's got dimples as well. So I got her ready, her princess dress, because everybody loves children, especially little girls, right? So she was my part one of my strategy. The second strategy is, if you've ever read any of my books, I always talk about an Oreo cake. So I then went on, and I have a secret ingredient that I put in my cakes, right? So this time I went boom, boom, boom. Plan, I will make the best cake ever, right? So this time around, I then made a strawberry and Oreo cake, with a buttercream frosting. Single layer, I didn't go overboard, right? So made it on the Saturday after I had had my bump in my head, did it, put it in the fridge. It was nice and ready, right? So beautiful princess baby girl and cake. So the idea is the baby, my little girl, she's going to smile at people, blaze her dimples, batter big eyelids, and everyone's going to go, oh, she's so pretty. Oh, and I'm going to be like, oh, would you like some cake as well? Oh, thank you very much. I wouldn't mind that myself. And and then we will start chatting. When you're feeding people, it makes them a bit more generous, I think. So that was the plan that I had in my head. Okay. Right. So come Sunday, D-Day, the internet still wasn't back on. And when I called my broadband provider, they're like, "Yeah, sorry, it's not been fixed yet. It's the problems from their end. It'll probably be fixed on Monday." Now it's a Sunday, right? And I wanted to leave home around 10 o'clock, and the library doesn't open till 1. Was like, okay, fine. I mean, I had a rough idea how I was going to get there. So I took the bus. Normally, I would walk from my house to the train station. So the nearest train station to me doesn't really have a good service on Sundays. Weekend train service in the UK or in London really, really sucks. So then there's the next station forward, which was about a 25-minute walk. And I would normally do it, but considering that I didn't really know where I was going, how long it was going to take me on a Sunday, I then decided I was going to take a bus from my house to take me to the other bus stop, and it's literally only a 10-minute ride on the bus. But because it's a Sunday, the bus only took me halfway, which was like, oh, right, okay. So, I mean, it's already cut my journey time by half. So instead of me to walk 25 minutes, I then literally had to walk. So it took me 5 minutes to get to the shopping center. And I then had to walk 10 minutes to get to the bus to the train station. Okay, so I then walk and go to the ticket, the guy that sells the ticket, and I say, right, I'm trying to get to the British Library, but I'm not really sure what the best route to get there is. And then he goes, oh, I don't know. And I'm thinking, like, seriously? Then, he then goes on the internet and goes, oh, yes, it's King's Cross. I'm like, duh, but I'm trying for you to tell me what the best routes to take. He then goes, okay, why don't you go take a train to London Bridge, and then you can make your way from there, right? And what this guy didn't do, and he just literally continued reading his magazine. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why aren't you being more helpful? Like, he just literally wanted to sit his fat behind down. And I don't mean that he's fat, but then, the behind is filled with fat and muscle. So he wasn't being really, really helpful. Right? I looked at the time and I thought, okay, well, there's one leaving in about 30 seconds. Maybe the next train will be in about 10 minutes, right? So it then takes me a few minutes to get to the platform where the train was. Then I look at the time, and the next train was not going to come for another half an hour. And that would have taken, so then the train was not going to come till 11:24. Right, and I'm supposed to be at on my stall at 12 o'clock, so I was definitely not going to stay there for at the train station for half an hour. So I then spoke to another guy. He said, okay, there's another train that's leaving in 3 minutes, which by the time I got to that platform, that train had left because I then got delayed on the way. Right, so you see, this is like what's it called? And let me sneak it a series of unfortunate events. Like literally, everything was just going wrong. So the bus didn't went only half the way. Then the ticket attendant wasn't being very helpful. The train that he told me to go was not going to. I missed one, and then the next one was going to come from half an hour. Another ticket guy said, that train attendant said, station attendant said, go to the next platform. I missed it because the lift was just going up and down, up and down. Then another train was going to leave, that going in a different direction. But the thing with the underground is that you can always connect yourself back. So I just needed to get into central London. Okay. So I then took another train that was leaving at 11:08 that was going to take me to Victoria. Okay. And I really wish that the mayor of London is actually listening to this, because I have bones to pick. Right. So it took 20 minutes to get to Victoria. So by 8:30, I was in central London. So literally all I needed to do was to make my way to King's Cross. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, easily that should take me what, 20 minutes on a good day? 20 minutes, yes, to get to King's Cross from London, Victoria. But did that happen? No. London Victoria Station is not very mobility friendly. So I'm standing at the top of the stairs looking at the gazillion stairs and I'm thinking, how am I going to carry my little human in her pram and my cake and my books down the stairs? Okay, now I don't know why people give Londoners a bad name because Londoners are the friendliest people on earth, right? And then someone just comes to me, would you like some help going on the stairs? And this shopping gentleman, helps me. We lift my pram and we get down to the stairs. I was like, thank you so much, you saved my life. Then when we get to the ticket barrier, after going through to get down to the platform, even more steps. Great. Someone else was kind enough to help me down the stairs. Then when I get to the platform, I felt like a donkey because I'd gone westbound, which is what my normal route when I'm going somewhere, rather than eastbound. So I then had to get someone else to help me up the stairs again, and then back down the stairs again to get to the correct platform. So literally, I'd probably spent 10 minutes, if not more, maybe 10, 15 minutes, just trying to get to the correct platform because there are no lifts. The station, Victoria Station, is not very friendly. It's only useful for people who just go up and down stairs. If you can't go up and down stairs easily, you should stay away from London Victoria. So eventually we made it, got on the thing, went to the next platform, got to the correct platform, and then went to Embankment. I think it was Embankment that I went to get the Northern Line. Again, more stairs. And so literally I had to wait for people who were kind enough. Look, everybody on that Sunday was being super helpful. Like I cannot, this is basically to shout out to all the Londoners who have ever used the underground and to all the lovely people who help people like me. Like seriously, thank you all so much, right? Anyways, so we had to deal with more steps because none of the stations had any lifts. Or even the escalator, going to use on a pram on the escalator was not a sensible idea either. But when it came to one station, I had to do that, but it was good. Anyways, so a journey that would have on a good day taken me 45 minutes from home, door to door, it ended up taking me an hour and 45 minutes. So I got to British Library at 12:15. So I was meant to be there from 12. But I was already frazzled. Um, this is a long narration, but so basically it's like literally every single thing that could be going wrong with me went on, before I got there. So eventually I got there, and I'd say when I was eventually showed to my stall, I brought out my cake and I was like, okay, there were all the other people who were out there. I was like, you know what, I bake cake, it's part of my strategy, come have some. Now the thing that I have to sort of that I didn't like so much about the venue, it was at the British Library. One, there was no air conditioning. So even at 12:15, when there weren't a lot of people, it was already quite warm in the venue. There wasn't any refreshment, sort of provided at the place where the event was taking place. So I thought that was why a lot of the other, the volunteers and the other stall owners were quite happy to come and have some cake. And then there wasn't any drink at all. But yeah, so from that point of view, my strategy, I did have a good strategy. Okay, little woman, she was dazzling people. Everyone was going, oh my god, you've got such a lovely dress, oh, you're so pretty, oh, check out your big brown eyes. And then they were coming, and then and then see, this is one of, I think when I bake and I go all out, right, I always tag my baking as foodgasm cakes or foodgasm pancakes. And at the end of the day, there was this lady, right? And I thought she was going to be having an orgasm day because she was going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this is bad, this is bad. And I was like, Jimmy, bad isn't good. And then she goes to someone else, oh my god, you really need to try this, right? So from that point of view, I definitely got people coming to my stand and talking to me. And then the little human did her work. At the time, I actually got upset with her at one point because she then started crying. But after again, bear in mind, we've had a really stressful journey in getting to the place. And it was really, really hot. But I hadn't thought about her in that sense of because, I've had a bump on my head. I was already quite frazzled with, the getting to the location. And then when we got home, and 2 days later, I was like, actually, she was probably crying because she was quite warm as well. Because when they had like different rooms where people go and have like different talks. So when everybody came out, the place where they put the booksellers, it was quite small. So when people then came out from the room, oh my god, it was like a market square. Like literally, I didn't think people had enough space to walk about. Like it was that packed, which is a good thing, but wasn't also a good thing. Because what then happened is people didn't have a lot of leg room to maneuver about and to look around. And from the booksellers that were there, I was the only author. But everybody else there was a bookshop. So it was a good thing and a not so good thing. I only brought 2 of my books to sell or to display, and one of them sold out more than the other because I only brought like 2 copies of my first book, and that went. And then the other one, I did sell some of them, but they were still quite. No, I didn't sell everything, and just because there just wasn't space for people to stay. But then I found that because everybody else there were booksellers, they had like hundreds and hundreds of books. Like literally, it was like being in a library again or in a bookstore. So when people went, they had more choice, to look at. So they would stay, they will have a flick of one book, put it down, take another book, look at it, put it down, take another book. And so most of the people were then spending ages on at the other stall. Whereas with my one, because I was just left with the one book left, people look at it, who wanted to buy, bought, or who wasn't interested, they just moved on. So that was my learning experience. So I would like to do this again next year. So I'm going to still do psychology. I'm still going to do strategy. What would I be doing? Oh yes. Oh, before I even go there, having business cards was fantastic. Okay, because I put all my business cards in each of the copies that I had sold out and in all the other books. And then people who were having a conversation with me, I gave them books. I give them my business card. I had a lady who was from a magazine, and literally a children's magazine. I think it's based in South Africa. But she didn't even have a business card. And I was asking her, "What is your website?" That you're asking me like interview style questions and taking pictures. And she was like, "Oh yes, I will show it to you." And she didn't even have internet access. Like seriously. And she didn't even have so probably my pictures are gonna be put somewhere, and I'm hoping it would be. I'll be quite annoyed if she put pictures of my little girl on her website because yeah, why would you want to put someone's baby, on your website? And so I have no idea what her website is. I have no idea what her name is because she wasn't even kind enough to tell me her name. And because she had no internet, she couldn't even tell me, what this website was, and without any business cards. So another takeaway from today is have business cards ready. When you're at an event, people are not going to remember your name. People are not going to remember the things that you tell them. But if you have a business card, when they go home, when they're relaxed, they will then be able to remember the things that you say. Yeah. And then I had another lady, who is a banker, but then she's also interested in African literature, and she does a lot of talks, from a cultural point of view. And, she wanted to have a long conversation with me. So what did I take away from that? If I was going to do this again, what would I do differently? Right now, because I know of this event, and I do know that it definitely does pull in people, I will book, instead of just a 2 hour slot, I would book a stall for 2 days. Okay, I will book it from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. I don't need to book it from first thing in the morning because it takes too long to get there, and I'm not particularly interested in waking up at stupid o'clock. So I will book it from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock on the Saturday and the Sunday for both days. I will bake a bigger cake and take with me on the Saturday so that I can have it both Saturday and Sunday. I will still get the little human to come with me, and I will just make sure that I dress her more appropriately. Next year, she won't need a pram. I'm hoping so. But then if I don't put her in a pram, how am I going to carry the books to the venue? I might still take a pram just so that I can put her somewhere. But we'll figure something out, with that relationship. But the main thing is dressing her appropriately. And I mean, I hope that the British Library will put the event somewhere that actually has air conditioning, just so that people are not stuffy. And whatnot. So that would be the second thing. So I will still do a cake. I will still get. But then what has really inspired me, because the lady who wanted to have a big chat, a long chat with me, she encouraged me to write even more books. So I'm now inspired. So I've got 3 books to my name at the moment. I'm hoping that by the end of this year, I will add 3 more books to it. So that will make it 6. And maybe early next year, I might have 1 more book, and that will make it 7. So at least this way, I will have 7 books as opposed to the 2 books that I brought with me this year. And I think that that gives me a bigger stand, or better stand, in relation to the booksellers that have hundreds and hundreds of different titles. At least instead of just 2 titles, by having 7 books at least with me, I'm able to get people to want to stay at my table even more, and have more conversation. I will also ask a friend to come with me, just so that if I have one person who wants to have a long conversation with me, because that's the benefit of being an author. Because people would like to have a chat with you, see what your inspiration for writing and all the different things. Then at least one other person or a friend with me can then also engage with other people and smile at other people who are coming by the table. Whereas because it was just me and the little human, it was sort of quite hard to engage with other people that come, because then I don't want to say to the lady who was chatting with me, okay, sorry, I have to go. And especially because it was quite jam packed as well. So that's what I would do differently. And then I'm going to hope and pray that next year when I do Bookistan, no other author will be there, because that was the advantage that I had over the booksellers, because I could autograph books, which people who had bought my books were quite interested in. They were like, "Oh, can you sign my book for me?" And some were giving me their children's names, and it was really, really nice to be able to do that. So next year, I hope there will be more booksellers, and I can be the only author that will be there. So please, if you're a writer or an author and you write African books, please don't listen to any of this. This is bad advice, absolutely bad advice. Don't come go to African writers. I'm recommending you. You can go there to just see what's going on. Do not have a stall if you're an African writer. Okay, I want to be the only African writer having a stall at African Writers 2017. Okay, I will book the stalls quite early. So that's about it. I actually did enjoy my experience of it, because this was the first time I was actually having at a festival. But yeah, so these are the things that I would do differently. Instead of just booking getting a stall for 2 hours, I would do it for full days for 2 days. And because I know where I'm going now, I'm sure all the problems that I had going this time around, I'm not going to have it. I will do more business cards, because I found that that was actually quite useful, putting it in the books that I did sell. And if you're an aspiring author, people always say to you that you should keep writing. That is possibly the best advice anybody can give to you, because you imagine if I only had 1 book and then just put in 1 book on the table, that's not really very nice. And even though I brought 2 types of books with me, 1 book sold quicker than the other, because I only brought like 5 copies of them. I can't remember, or 2 copies, whatever it was. And then the other one also sold, but because I had more of that one, it left. And then when it was just the 1 copy left, there wasn't really that much choice. So also, it doesn't really look nice to just have 1 or 2 books on your table. Whereas next year, I'm hoping if I had 7 different books, then there would be a nicer spread across my table than having just 1 or 2. So that's why when people say that it's important that you keep writing, seriously, this is evidence that you should keep writing. So that's what I'm going to be recommended. So what did I learn from this? Have a strategy, have a plan, apply psychology. So what was the psychology is providing food to get people to come and spend time at my table, having my daughter there to break that ice, break that barrier, because people love children, people love cake. That was a winning combination, in my opinion, that did work. Unfortunately, the venue was quite hot. My little girl was quite warm as well. So after a while, she just started crying and crying and crying. So that kind of just put a hamper on everything, and especially because it took us ages trying to get it. Can you imagine someone being on the pram and you're being bounced up and down, going up the stairs and down the stairs? So yes, so that was it. So I definitely, want to say a big thank you to everyone at London Underground Station who is helpful in, in helping people like me carry our prams up and down stairs all the time. I'm doubtful any of them would see this, but if they ever did, then thank you so much. Yeah, so that's basically, it's quite long-winded, and then again, technology always seems to fail me, but yes, that's hopefully it doesn't fail me again anytime soon. And next week we'll continue as usual. So people, yes, I was going to say, let me do a bit of shameless plug here. Printing books, to take by yourself, is quite expensive. So let me be just very, very shameless and ask you to please, 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 please go and buy my books, okay? My name, Segilola Salami. My website, segilolasalami.co.uk. SEGILOLESALAMI.co.uk. Please go check out my books. Go and buy my books. Because when you buy my books, then I'll be able to afford to print, all the 7 books to take with me to African rights. You know what I say, karma, good comes to you. So when you buy my books, I can list all the good things that you will be doing. You'll be contributing to my Little Humans Children College Fund. You'll be contributing towards putting food on the little human table, because I try not to paint the image of a starving artist, but you know what I'll try not to, but the image is already in your head now. So starving artist, so please go buy my books, and then you can put food on the little human's table, and then you can contribute to her college fund. Then you can help to pay for the hosting of the show. Let me see what else, and then you can help when you do buy my books. That will help me to print books to take with me to Africa Rights 2017. What else? I think that's about it now. But yes, I actually thought Africa Rights was a good experience. So do leave a comment. Let me know what other festivals you've been at, and how did you feel? Was the venue really crowded? Were there lots of people? Was it air conditioned? What was your experience of it? Did you attend Africa Rights 2016? Were you there? What times were you there? What did you think of it? Do drop me a comment. Let me know. Also, before I forget, I have had trolls on my iTunes US page. So if you see some reviews, because I use this website that allows me to see reviews from all the iTunes store, because I'm in the UK, I don't have access to seeing the reviews that are on the US iTunes store. So with this website, I'm able to see reviews from all over the world. And so on the 29th of June, when my internet came back on, only a couple of days ago, I then went to go and have a look at what's been happening. And people have left 5 reviews of my show and saying it's an app and saying it's a mood tracker app. Now, this would be quite misleading, because if anyone goes to look at the reviews from in the iTunes, sorry, did I say Amazon before? Sorry, I meant iTunes US store. So if anyone goes to the iTunes US store and see those ones, they might get a bit confused, or they might find it a bit misleading. So please, I would beg you to please go and report those users, because I'm not really sure why trolls. I mean, the good thing was they left 5-star reviews